All right. All right. All right. What's up, you guys? What's up? What's up? What's up? Hold on, I'm gonna manage the layout real quick. Okay. Okay. We are live. We are live. What's up, guys? I'm eating real quick. About to hop on stream, do a little some reacts and stuff like that. Have y'all tag along. How's all day been? You already know we've been chilling. We've been chilling. Um, just nothing crazy. Some, like I said, some light reacts and some chatting. So yeah. I had this video in my watch later that I was literally just gonna put on. Watch with you guys. Hey, thank you for following. I appreciate it. Welcome to the stream, obviously. Anyway, so we're just gonna get through some light reacts here, and yeah. I don't know if you guys watch MKBHD, but he dropped a Smartphone Awards 2025. So we're about to tune into that actually, and watch it right now. So let me get this on. Let me get this on. See. Okay. Give me a second. All right. All right. Let's get into this. I obviously been waiting to see what the his smartphone awards for 2025 would be, and they piqued my interest. So I was like, oh yeah, let's get into this. Let me see what he got. Let me see what he got. All right. Make sure you guys can hear it. Oh, I don't even think you guys can hear it. Oh my gosh. See. Oh, I know exactly what I'm gonna have to do. All right. Technical difficulties. Hold on. Gonna have to, and then up. Switch that back, and then you should be able to hear it now.
Smartphone
Yeah, there
is
we go.
still OP. Like, this is still the center of our personal computing lives. And we got a lot of stuff coming out this year. We got folding phones. We got really interesting high-end phones and budget phones and weird accessories and modular designs and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, all
And
right.
I'm about to give them some trophies. Every single phone on this desk in front of me came out during the calendar year 2025. And it's a bit of a
Okay.
tradition around here to reward some of the best and most notable of them. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do.
I'm gonna drop my
As
prediction for
usual,
phone
we
of
have
the
a
year
set
right
number.
now before he even says it. But I think it's gonna be one of the iPhones. It's not the 17 Pro or Pro Max. I think it's going to be the 17. I'm gonna need whoever's watching to drop another follow if I'm right. By the way, because I think it's gonna be the 17, no doubt about it. Because everything about the 17 was genuinely perfect as an iPhone, or as not an iPhone, as a phone in general. Um, Good camera specs. They finally put it to a 120 hertz display. Great battery life. It had a good chip. Everything about that phone was amazing. So if that doesn't win phone of the year, then Marquez was tripping. That's what I'm gonna say. That's
Categories,
what I'm
and
gonna
for
say.
each one of these categories, I'm going to give one overall winner, which I will also award this very nice premium trophy, which I'll literally mail you if you're watching this, if you're the company that made the phone. And then, of course, I'll give some honorable mentions and some runner-ups if there are others that are deserving. And this is one of the most fun videos to do every year because every year there's all sorts of interesting phones that came out and storylines and different picks that people are expecting for certain awards. But these are, of course, my awards. So the awards I give are the ones I deem worthy. And without any
Okay.
further ado, let's just jump into it. First category, best big phone. Now, I've been doing this show a long time,
It's gonna go
and back when I
to
first
an
made this
Android most
category, it
definitely.
was when there were like several distinct sizes of phones. Like there was normal phones, there were small phones, and there was huge phones like phablets. Nowadays, though, every phone is big. But that's not stopping me from still awarding the huge phone that makes the most of it. So if you're gonna carry a gigantic phone in your pocket, you might as well make the most use of that space. A runner-up that I wanna give at least a mention to is this one over here. This is the Oppo Find X9 Pro. This is a 6.8-inch screen size and packs in a huge triple camera system on the back, including a 200 megapixel telephoto sensor. There's a ton of RAM and storage. There's a custom button.
I also noticed that a lot of the phones on this table,
there's a giant.
I feel like we've reached a point where all phones have tried to approach similar designs. Like, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but like for example, if the Pixel and the I'd say the Pixel and the iPhone. If I was to put a Pixel and an iPhone, blindfold you, and you were to hold both phones, I don't think you'd be able to tell them apart. I generally, maybe by weight and how thin they are, but if I was to blindfold you and you were to hold both, you would be like, which phone is which? I think you'd confuse the Pixel for the iPhone for the Pixel, vice versa. Because all phones have approached the similar design. We go for the rounded edges, the aluminum sides, and then the glass back, whatever. They all approach the same design. And I think I like the point that we reached that. I liked how we reached that point, and that was like a good pinnacle of design that we reached.
Giant 7,500 milliamp hour silicon carbon battery, which is ridiculous. It's an awesome phone. It's very big, but not enough to win this award. The winner is going to go to this guy.
Is this Xiaomi?
Is the Xiaomi 17 Pro Max.
Was that not the PS3 opening sound?
This is a really big phone that is really loaded with features. First of all, it's a 6.9-inch phone, so basically as big as a phone gets before it's a tablet. But it also feels like the most phone you can get if you're trying to maximize everything. Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, which is shaken out to be the most powerful chip of the year. 7,500 milliamp hour silicon carbon battery, all of the RAM, all of the storage, triple 50 megapixel cameras, and then a nearly 3
like you guys see the design, right?
120 hertz
obviously each phone will have their own
back,
feature,
more useful than ever,
but this is literally so close
on it. It's your camera
to like
finder. It's everything. It's one of those phones that
all phones being like united. I'd say like everything like takes parts from. Is it crazy? The iPhone. The iPhone. I say the iPhone is a trendsetter here. Everyone's gonna take parts or like pieces of the iPhone to appeal to that market. And if they can appeal to that market, obviously more sales. So that's why I think they do that. I don't know.
By Xiaomi.
Could be chatting.
Well deserving of the best big phone of 2025. So that brings us to the next category, best small phone. So like I said, lots and lots of phones these days are huge. And it's been a while since I killed a category, but I don't want to do it with this one because I feel like it's more important than ever to reward the ones that are actually doing the most with the least amount of space because it's so rare now. And so last year, the small flagship phone basically went extinct. There are no really good flagships with an under 6-inch screen anymore. So the winner last year was a 6.1-inch display. Nowadays, even that is rare. So now the phones that are shooting for that throne are in like the 6.3-inch screen size territory. So here's a good example. This phone I really liked. This is the OnePlus 13S. S for small, allegedly. And it did a lot of things great. Pretty simple, small, strong, and slick design, smooth and smart software. Sorry, I'm overdoing the S thing again, but that wasn't quite enough to win this award.
Well, you said 6.1? This is a 6.1 display. This is, I wouldn't say small. So, I don't know. Like, I think we've now reached a point where if your phone is not above 6 inches, 6 inches, or like, 6 inches, or no one's gonna take it. Like, I don't know. If 6.1 is small, then we lost the definition of small.
Like the iPhone 17 and 17 Pro, which had 6.3-inch screens roughly.
Like
that didn't win. We had the Xiaomi 17 Pro, the smaller one. But, you know, I think it's about time to make a bit of a statement with this category, because if slab phones aren't going to do it, then I feel like we should reward the phone that's actually trying to do something to be smaller. And so, the winner of the best small phone this year.
Oh my god, I forgot an ad.
Saving.
This, the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 7. So Samsung has been on this path where they're kind of slowly refining all of their phones year over year now, which makes the flagship phones kind of feel like they're not really doing too much. But that's paying off dividends for these foldables, because this phone is now a 6.9-inch full-size smartphone when it's unfolded, which is massive.
Unfolded. I was about to say.
But now more than ever, you can use this phone when it's folded in half, which doesn't just make it easier to pocket, but it also lets you use the full 4.1-inch corner-to-corner cover
So it's a loophole. It's
screen
essentially a
lot more.
loophole.
And I actually found myself doing that. I was managing notifications, texting people back, and handling critical stuff, but not ever really getting distracted into doom scrolling or mindless smartphone usage like I would on a normal phone. It's like this was the perfect amount of useful as a small phone, and then it always had a full-size smartphone lurking underneath if you needed it. But definitely worthy of the best small phone. I think you could argue all day between the folding and flipping form factors, like which one's better for most people, which one's more utility. I think for the average person, I could argue for the flip phone a little more easily, and it's also cheaper. So I think really good phone, long time coming, well played Samsung. So next category,
Also, obviously,
best
can't forget
camera.
to mention.
Now this has
This
always
MKBHD.
been a very interesting category
Go
for the
subscribe.
smartphone awards,
Obviously,
because every
so
year
go and
we
tap.
get a
If you're
ton
not
of
subscribed
innovation
yet,
in
what are you doing?
smartphone cameras. It's no surprise. Matter of fact, little inside baseball. Basically every single one of these phones that comes out, it gets sent to the studio for a review, along with like a 50-page PDF of a reviewer's guide with all the facts and figures and new features on the phone. And sometimes like half of those pages are just on smartphone camera features. So we got new flagship phones this year with 200 megapixel cameras. We got brand new super advanced stable.
Just look at all the camera designs. You see that? Look as we pan down.
Flagship phones this year with
Obviously, nothing is trying to do something to not look like other phones. They want to be nothing like the other phones. But every phone on this table looks similar or has similar attributes to each other. I see 3 phones on my screen right now that look like an iPhone. And you're telling me that's not inspo?
200 megapixel cameras. We got brand new super advanced stabilization in some of these, some new formats. Almost everything actually in front of me here has at least triple cameras. Usually 3 focal lengths, sometimes 2 with like a sort of a cheap macro or black and white third camera. So there's lots of phones deserving to be recognized here. But then you ask the people who actually use the cameras here for a living, and it seemingly always boxes us in to one answer. The iPhone. Oh, wait. That's not. Oh, would you look at that? The
What?
2025
The
camera
Oppo?
winner is the Oppo Find X9 Pro. This phone did basically everything right in the camera department, in my opinion. It's got, well, actually 4 cameras on the back here, but a 50 megapixel main camera, a 50 megapixel ultra wide, a 200 megapixel telephoto camera, and they put out consistently great photos, great sharpness and dynamic range, really good color calibration. That was a really good base, and then all the little intangibles too, like a really quick responsive camera app, quick focus, and the confidence that gives you to successfully get harder.
One more thing. I promise I'll stop pausing chat. Give me a second. Look at, does that not look like the live photo button? Obviously Apple can't, but it just adds on to my point. Inspo. We're trying to appeal to Apple's market so we can get more, because I'm not gonna say Apple dominates, but Apple dominates a good percentage. There's a good percentage of Android, Pixel, Samsung users, good percentage of iPhone users, or Apple. They're trying to appeal to the Apple market by making phones similar to that. Like, in a snap of a finger, I would switch from my iPhone 14 to a Pixel 10. Snap, just like that. Because I feel like I wouldn't lose an experience. I still get good cameras. I still get a good OS. I still get good features. The only thing, see, what deters people away from switching is, I'm going to blame this all on iMessage. That deters people from switching. If I was to be like, yeah, guys, I got a new phone. Previously, I had an iMessage group chat with my friends, right? And I was be like, oh, yeah, guys, I got a new phone, la, la, la. Now, when I message, it's going to be green. And everyone's going to be like, it's green now. What are you doing? It's green. Why'd you make it green? So that makes me be like, all right, yeah, okay. I'll stay on iPhone. It makes the message easier, whatever. Or it's the other features that the way Apple does. The easy syncing between devices where I could be like, let me send something to my Mac immediately. All right, bet. Let me copy and paste something from my Mac to my phone. Immediately copies and paste. Let me drag an image from my iPad, drop it onto my phone, and then drag the image from my iPhone, and then drop it onto the Mac. And then hold on, wait, let me connect my AirPods. Oh, let me listen to something on my phone. AirPods will pause whatever's playing on the Mac, play it on the phone. Nothing does it. That's where Apple wins. Apple wins in continuity, connectivity, and seamlessness. I'm gonna throw connection in there, those three C's. That's where Apple wins. Apple wins just like that. What? Oh my gosh.
Shots, especially when punching way in with the zoom thanks to the resolution on that periscope camera. And then they just loaded it up with a ton of extra features that honestly sometimes work, sometimes don't, but like it's cool to have them if you want. Like there's the stage lighting mode, so if it detects you're taking a photo during a concert, it can change the lighting to look kind of nice. Also, the fourth sensor back here is a true color sensor, which does a lot of work to help you get accurate colors in more challenging lighting situations. And they also just straight up copied Apple's camera control for what it's worth. It's not actually worth very much, but it's there. It also has good portrait mode, and it has good night mode, and very respectable film emulation. And also, you know how most of these on the table, 48, 50, 100 megapixel sensors are mostly giving you binned down 12 megapixel shots? Not this one. This one's giving you, if the lighting is good enough, 50 megapixel shots from every shot, every time. And somehow, it doesn't sacrifice much in the video department either. It will do 4K,
I will say
120 FPS,
I'm gonna give video
Dolby
to
Vision,
iPhone every time.
And the microphones are pretty good too. And then on
movies
top
are
of all
filmed
of that,
on iPhone.
they
Some movies
also
are actually
made
filmed on iPhone. Like the F1 movie, some of the parts of the F1 movie were filmed on a mocked down iPhone. And yes,
this, which is an attachment lens, a Hasselblad telephoto attachment that you put the case on the back of the phone, you attach this to the case, and then this turns into a 10x optical zoom on this already really good 200 megapixel telephoto that takes sometimes shockingly usable, really good far zoom shots just for fun. So yeah, this has the fundamentals and the fun, the numbers and the look. Like this is an incredibly well-rounded smartphone camera, well-deserved, and also happens to be a really good phone in other ways too. So Oppo Find X9 Pro, well-deserving. Camera of the year. And then my runner-up is, in fact,
the iPhone
17 Pro, which also leveled up again this year, both in the photo and video departments. The larger main sensor looks really good. They also bumped to a 4x telephoto, which I think is the right move. And these iPhones are still the undisputed king of video. Like, it's not even really up for debate. If you want the most compatible, best looking, easiest, most consistent video in the biggest variety of situations, especially with social media apps, you just get the Pro iPhone. Like the Pro iPhone's getting
Pro iPhone, but you get what I'm saying.
This year is all the proof you really need that the target demographic for people who shoot video with iPhones is more locked in than anyone else. They take it very seriously, and that's why this is the king of video. So that's my runner-up for smartphone camera. And I also want to give one more shout out to the Vivo X300 Pro, came out late this year. Also ridiculously good cameras, really, really impressive sensors and huge sensors. Just
like
not quite as refined as I thought they were going to be. The bokeh sometimes looks a little weird. The back.
I think each world to their own. Is that the same? Each to their own? Because I mean, obviously, like for example, with my family is so split up on the phones. Like, my mom and dad both have Samsungs. My brother has a Pixel. Me, my sister, and my younger brother have iPhones. So I get to mess around with all three worlds, and I say Samsung is better in a lot of departments. Like being able to customize, like to make the phone really feel your own, or just being able to like just have some features that Apple doesn't have for some reason, because what Apple wants to do is they want to make sure they can perfect the feature first before they roll it out. Like, what's a good feature? RCS, for example. They want to make sure RCS was good before they added it to the iPhone. You've seen Pixel and iPhone. I feel like the Pixel takes better pics. I think the Pixel does. I always say that the Pixel actually does take better pictures. I'll give video to iPhone and camera like photos to Pixel, because Pixel doesn't put any too much processing on their photos. Pixel also doesn't overly like saturate them. I think Pixel always have, and they have a beefier sensor. Yeah, exactly.
Grounds and the blur, a little off, but like tons of detail in every shot and really respectable performance again, because last year the X200 Pro was excellent. So shout out to the X300 Pro. All right, next category, the Value Award. And yeah, here we are. This is
Best
always one of the
value?
most
What is that going to go to?
competitive categories because in the battle of giving you the most for the least, that's where the customers are, of course, but also that's the most challenging as far as development. And the thing about these phones, like, they're all really good. You can't really get a terrible phone, but when you go super, super low in price, sometimes it feels like just trying not to get the phone that sucks at the thing that you really like. So like you might get a super cheap phone, but at least the camera doesn't suck because I like taking pictures. But my winner is one that I found didn't really suck at anything, which was really nice. It was just a result of an extremely aggressive pricing strategy from this company.
That would actually be fire.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
This is my winner. This is the CMF Phone 2 Pro. For $279, this phone is modular, cheap, and fun. It's funny, this tends to be one of the harder phones to explain because I'm already trying to explain to people what Nothing is, which is like a new brand of kind of budgety phones. And then the Nothing brand has the A series phones, which are even more budget. But then Nothing made a sub-brand called CMF, which is even more budget. But then this is the Pro phone in the lineup. But you can just ignore all that because they built a phone that feels like it's literally double the price. This is a 6.8-inch, 120 hertz screen that's actually good looking and bright. There's a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, so the life is actually pretty good. It also still has 3 cameras, where lots of phones at this price tend to drop one. The specs are solid, and the software is probably its highlight. It's really well optimized and feels pretty smooth. Plus, it's wrapped in this sort of fun design with some bright colors and some actually interesting attachable accessories to really make it your own. It's funny, I literally titled my review of this phone, Budget Phone of the Year, in May. So some pretty intense foreshadowing there, but I'd say well-deserved, and a nice trophy headed out to the folks over in London for that one. Now, I also want to give a shout out to the Moto G Play. Maybe it's because Motorola is really not very good at flagships, but this phone feels as good as anything they've made, and that's a good thing. Like, it's got a huge screen, it's got a really, really big battery, decent cameras, decent software, headphone jack. This is one of the best phones under $200. It's like $180 right now, and it will probably only drop from here. Very much worth it, and they've been killing it in this space for years, so this isn't a surprise. This is a really good option. Among all the competition in that price category, well done, Motorola. And also, Pixel 9a has got to be on anybody's list who's after a more compact option. A lot of these flagships are trying to feel like a flagship and have a huge screen. This is a 6.3-inch screen, and they did a lot of things.
I agree. Like I agree with that because I say anything over any like S20, S21, S22, 23, like 24, those will still last. I think those phones have a good life expectancy. Wow, have a good life expectancy of maybe like 8, 9, almost 10 years. Like they're gonna last a while, and I think Samsung's gonna continue rolling out updates for them too. Cause not only is their chip still really good, the cameras are good. Everything about that phone is a phone that will last you. Like I'll tell you right now, that's what iPhone can't do. Like if what released at the same time, released at the same time. I think the S21 and iPhone, was it 12 released at the same time? Can't remember. But if I was to try to use an iPhone 12 now, I would experience some problems, especially if I was like using iOS 26 or something. And iOS 26 is a lot of like the whole glass thing. I tried putting that on my 14 and oh my gosh, it was just so laggy. Can't believe Motorola and Nokia died away. I always thought they were the coolest when I was in high school. And you had flip phones. Oh, flip phones? Dang, that was a while back. Motorola? No, I feel like Motorola still has a place. Like, it's just not as prominent. I say Nokia, yeah, Nokia's dead, but Motorola still has a place. That's a lot of people I know who still have Motorola's, and like obviously they still make pretty decent phones actually. I know, and then a lot of like cellular brands like T-Mobile and whatever will always use like the Motorola phones as like something to reel you in. They'll be like, hey, got this nice Motorola. You get a good plan with it, whatever. Yeah, they get the displays from Samsung and stuff. Yeah, I still never understand that. I don't know why Samsung should never be catching strays like this. I literally think it's just the die-hard fanboys of Apple or any like other fan or phone that will really stray Samsung when I'm telling you right now, most phones are pretty equal in what they're good at. They're all like phones now, phones back then, each to their own, each to their own. But phones now are all pretty equally good. Like some may have a little spec bump above others, but any phone someone will have now is pretty good. And I mean, obviously there should be good because most phones now are ranging from like $900 to $1,000. So from phones to networking equipment and the Bluetooth and body cams. I did not know that. Oh, dang.
You can see that there isn't really any camera bump because they sort of filled it out and gave it a 5,300 milliamp hour battery and a great battery life as a result. Still great software from being a Pixel, really good cameras on the back. So overall, if you're after something smaller, this is $499, but I've seen it listed as low as like $399. So shout out to the Pixel 9a. And you know what?
Bad.
Shout out to the base iPhone 17 for finally stepping up to the plate and doing all the things that the base iPhone should. Flagship chip, yeah. Really good cameras, great software obviously, but also the new ProMotion display, a massively upgraded selfie camera, some kind of sweet new colors. It's actually a good deal this time around. It's sick. Love some good foreshadowing. All right, next category.
If someone's specifically looking
battery.
to get an iPhone, the base. Another ad. If someone's specifically looking like, you'd be like, oh, what phone I want? I specifically want an iPhone. Get the base iPhone 17. It's the best iPhone. It's finally like it's what Apple should have been doing a long time ago. Yeah. Best battery
or the history books, I guess. This is the year that smartphone batteries finally took a meaningful leap up. Or some of them, I guess. I feel like it started in January at the beginning of the year with the OnePlus 13, which launched with a 6,000 milliamp hour silicon carbon battery. And that's a number that was just unheard of like a year or two ago. And then suddenly, with this silicon carbon advancement, we can have all of that in a phone that's actually just as thin as its predecessor. But not every manufacturer has adopted it. Now, whether that's a price thing or a yields thing or a safety thing, a longevity thing, we don't really know. All I can really say is now it feels like there's a pretty clear delineation between just those that have it and those that don't. It's like we have a bimodal distribution now. It's like you're either Samsung and Apple and Motorola and you're just kind of capped at 5,000, 5,500 milliamp hours, or you're just blowing the doors off of those numbers with 7,000, 7,500, 8,000 milliamp hour batteries. And by the way, all of these now charge faster than the old ones too. And I actually used a phone this year.
It is. I mean, inflation is everywhere though for like prices. Like, what is the base iPhone? I think this. Let's check. Let's go to apple.com. iPhone 17. How much is that? 800. I remember when they used to be $699. That was good when they were that price. If this was still $699 or even maybe like what $629, I feel like we're never going to get a phone that low from Apple ever again. But even if it was that price, oh my gosh, that would have been fantastic. That's a China thing. They give a good stuff for a bargain price. Yeah, that's especially with like Xiaomi. Xiaomi loves to do that.
That got me not 2, but 3 days of like...
I think the 17 Air is what I like to call a gimmick. I think that's Apple saying, oh yeah, we can release this and people are still going to buy it. No, well, people are still going to buy it. Like, the battery's not that good. It only has one camera. Hey, but it's super thin. And since it's super thin, guess what? Everyone's gonna be like, oh, super thin phone. We gotta buy it. Da, 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 da. And then you can buy the extended battery. That's dumb. It's literally a gimmick. It was literally a gimmick. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, thin phone. Look at that. And then when you put the battery, it's the same thickness. Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
all day, carefree, high brightness, mixed use, like 10 plus hours of screen on time from a 7,300 milliamp hour battery. And that is the winner for battery of the year. This guy right here.
The OnePlus.
It's the OnePlus 15. This phone has me so excited about what the next years of smartphones and what the next couple generations of the silicon carbon battery tech could turn into. Like, it was already crazy seeing the January phone from OnePlus pushing 6,000 milliamp hours, but now pushing over 7,000 less than a year later is ridiculous. Not only, though, does this phone have the best battery I have ever used in a phone, but it also has 120 watt wired charging and 50 watt wireless charging. The only thing it's really missing is like having
wireless
magnets in the back,
charging.
you know? So it's crazy
That
good.
could.
Best battery
Oh
experience
yeah,
of the year. And
the carry pouch. I saw that, and then everyone was rushing to the stores. I'm telling you, it's a gimmick. It's a gimmick, and Apple is just testing to see how far they could go with it. Yeah, it feels like $20. Yeah, but how much is it? We gotta go back. Apple.com. Accessories, iPhone. I also, the crossbody strap. All right, but where is it? Browse all. It wouldn't be in here. Oh, it is. See it? Oh, this is so dumb. $230. 150? What? That's so dumb.
and
What I
it
was gonna
really
say,
sets the
50-watt wireless charging, that has to be a fire hazard. Like, I thought capping wireless charging off at 20 watts, I was like, okay, yeah, that's fine. That's fine, but 50 watts is insane.
tone for others to either catch up or level up again in 2026. I'm also give a shout out to the Xiaomi 17 Pro Max, which had a 7,500 milliamp hour battery stuffed into this phone, but more incredibly, 22.5 watt reverse wireless charging, which is insane. That's almost as fast as a regular iPhone will regularly wireless charge. And also honorable mention to, it didn't even fit on this table, the phone that I tested this year with the largest capacity battery, which is this chunk right here. This is a Doogee S200 Ultra, 11,000 milliamp hour silicon carbon battery, because of course. So next category, the design award.
Yeah,
And this
that's
is
essentially-
always a fun one. I kind of love this category. I mean, look at this table. Like, at first glance, sure, we've got a lot of phones that look pretty similar, but the more you look at them, the more interesting little details as far as shapes and textures
still
and
relatively
materials
all look
and
the
colors
same.
all start to show
Besides,
up.
what is that? This phone
Textures
right here.
and materials and colors all start to show up. There were phones with modules you could throw on the back. There were phones with screens on the back. There was even this.
This thing with wireless charging is another gimmick. Yeah, I mean, wireless charging, I would say wireless charging was a gimmick. It was a gimmick when it released, but it's the fact that I guess it's just the ease of it now. You up, home, place the phone down, walk away, just like that. Or like, that's literally it. I literally think that's it. I don't know. I feel like if we stop doing wireless charging, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of people who use it, especially since Apple revolutionized it with the with MagSafe, obviously. So it's just like a thing now. Not getting a flip phone ever. They got crease up displays. No, the crease up displays. I think another thing. Flip phones are gimmicks. I'm surprised it lasted this long. I'm surprised it lasted this long. Like with the Z Flip, or the only thing that seems okay is a Z Fold. Yeah, you got a phone, fold it into a tablet. Obviously, show the crease in the display. But flip phones, that's such a gimmick. It was just like, all right, let's bring back old phones that can flip out. But hey, this time the whole screen can flip and stuff. And then gimmick. Then Motorola was doing it. The Motorola, what was it? Razr, I think it was. Oh my goodness.
This is the Realme GT8 Pro, and you see this camera bump, which kind of looks maybe a little bit generic, but there's 2 screws on it. It came with a screwdriver, so you could pop this camera bump off and change it out to a different shape. So you could have a circular or a rectangular camera bump,
They're
just
trying to
because
appeal to all
those are
markets
clearly
with
the
that
2
one.
types of camera bumps you might want. But the philosophy for which one to award has actually changed a bit from year to year. I remember back in the
gonna
day, this
be
used
the
to just
Pixel.
be the best built phone or the most durable phone. And now it's kind of shifted to something that has a little bit more of a story to it and maybe takes more of a risk in design to achieve something really, really cool. And I want to keep it that way. I mean, this is my awards after all. There's 1,000 ways that this could go. But my award winner is going to be
The iPhone
This may
Air.
be
He
the
better not
last
have not
ad
just
you-
picked up the iPhone Air. No way he just picked up the iPhone Air.
this phone right here. This is the iPhone Air. One of the most beautiful and controversial products of the whole year. So we've had a couple months now to get more clear-eyed on the iPhone Air, and a couple things have become more clear. One is it's not nearly as successful as a product as Apple might have been hoping. But 2 is it is clearly compromised in some very specific ways that you're either willing to live with or not. It is clearly a worse battery, and it's dropped all the way down to a single camera. But also what they've ended up with is a phone that feels crazy. It feels impossibly light. It looks impossibly thin. It kind of resembles a piece of jewelry in many ways, but also really appeals to the minimalist in me. Just the idea of rearranging basically all of the internals into the top section of this phone around the camera bump is hilarious, but also surprisingly effective. Nobody asked for this. Nobody needs this. In fact, I've been asking specifically for change in the opposite direction. But then you use this phone and it starts to make other very normal phones feel like tanks. It's just one of those phones that feels so good in the hand and is so impressive that like I want to be able to use it daily. Like I want to be the type of person
You
who
can't.
could live
'Cause
with
it's
these
not good enough to use daily. Like I've gone to the Apple store to once a new iPhone drop. I was like, yeah, I gotta feel the iPhone Air in my hand, and it is insanely light. It is really light, but that's the only thing it has good for it. The battery life's not good. The camera's not that good. It overheats very easily. So like because of the 17 Pro chip, is it whatever chip is in there, and or A19 Pro, and with the Pro chip in there with no cooling, it's gonna overheat. The S10 Ultra, and it's an unrealistic tablet. Isn't it that like the really like really huge one? Like no, I've seen reviews on it. I think I've watched
sacrifices.
Marquez review
I
it.
tried. I can't. Like I need this to have dual cameras and a silicon carbon battery, and
Isn't,
they didn't
like,
do that.
No, I was trying to remember because I was trying to compare it with like the iPad Pro because I they both did the same thing, try to be like thin and really big. But I was like, which one has the better specs? Which one? I think I would rather enjoy the S10 just because of the screen size. I think the screen size really gives it a benefit, and also it comes with a pen. You have to buy the pen separate from the iPad.
But geez, just a ridiculously good looking, awesome feeling piece of machinery this phone is. So it's definitely getting the award. I definitely have some runner-ups though that I want to give out. One specifically, I have to. The design of the Xiaomi 17 Pro Max with the full-on usable screen on the back of the phone.
Yeah.
Just awesome. Awesome phone in general, and to have that design element actually be super
specifically do you
functional
dislike iOS?
was
Like,
kind
what
of a
about it?
masterpiece. So really well played.
I bet so much people like that. I was like, but like, what specifically about iOS do you dislike? And would you? I always ask them this: if the iPhone didn't use iOS, if it used any other OS, would you get it? That's what I always ask.
It's done Xiaomi. And then the Galaxy S25 Edge is another one. Again, not a product that anyone in particular was asking for or needs, but a much more brutalist, really rectangular version of the ultra-thin smartphone. And it actually has a flagship main camera and a little bit more of a usable battery, but just a really different take here. Also, I cannot wait for them to make a silicon carbon battery version of this phone. It's got to be around the corner. And I'm also going to give a shout out to this, which is
Android is a lot
the
more
Fairphone
user-friendly.
6, a phone that looks relatively normal.
I
that's the
I saw a take that was funny on TikTok the other day. It was if when Apple sells their phones, they should ship it with a manual, especially for like older adults. I think if you are a lot older, get yourself like an Android. maybe like get yourself a Samsung, or I like to say the most user friendly phone is a Pixel. Get yourself a little Pixel. It's fine. With iOS, it's a lot more like, yeah, if you're under this certain age, I think this phone will be perfect for you. That's how it is.
Point, because this just so happens to be the most repairable, the most sustainable, and most modular phone basically of all time, and that is no small feat. Definitely worth recognizing. So then next category, best foldable. So I don't have them all here in front of me, but there are definitely a lot of phones that come out every year now that have some version of folding and flipping. And it seems like this is the year that a lot of them got way thinner. And obviously thin is mostly an aesthetic thing, but in a phone that folds in half like this, where you mostly use it open, but also sometimes use it closed, it goes a long way to making it feel a lot more like a regular phone that just happens to unfold into a tablet. So that was pretty key for me. And so it was close between two for me, but I'm going to give my award for best foldable to this guy, the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7. If you deleted all the slab phones in the world somehow and made me daily drive something that folds, it would be this one. Not because it's the thinnest or has the best specs or the best cameras, it doesn't, but it's the most rock solid across the board and usable as a daily in every way. Like really great software, very good battery life. It has plenty of software features built in to take advantage of the 8-inch display canvas when it's open, but it's also, like we can see, dramatically better to use while closed than any previous Z Fold, thanks to the new ultra-thin form factor. This is just another phone I'm hoping for a silicon carbon version of at some point in the future.
When you fold
Samsung,
them, they're so
please.
thick.
But like I said, this one was actually close.
There were the whole thing with making phone thins now, like making them all thin. I think I'm happy they're applying it to the foldables now, because foldables used to be so thick. Oh, triple fold not found. Imagine if Apple came out. Oh, it would sell like crazy because it's Apple. I think Apple's to the point now where it's more like as a designer standard. Like, not designer, but like, hey, if you have this Apple product, you're doing the right thing. Obviously, the specs are going to match up. The specs are going to be good for that price, hopefully. But like, it's like, yeah, I got this. I spent this much on this. Yeah, exactly. They're a fashion
bunch
company.
of other foldables that I saw, and one other one that actually daily drove this year for an extended period of time. And
the best thing about Apple is not their phones. I'd say their computers are better. That's it. I'm just gonna give it to their computers. That's literally it. I daily drive a MacBook for my schoolwork and all that stuff, and I say it was better than when I was daily driving a Windows laptop. I say that's what they're good at. They're good at their computers. And the prices are a little crazy. That's why I went to go get this when it was Black Friday, because obviously I'm not about to spend almost $1,000 on this. Got it for I think $749. That was amazing. But this laptop has caused me no troubles, no lags, great battery life. The M4 chip is amazing. And now that they're finally not shipping this with 8 gigabytes of RAM anymore, they're shipping it with 16, which 16 should be a standard. I don't know why we still ship stuff with 8 sometimes. Some people designed in like the mouse with the charging part on the bottom. I have that mouse. I don't know where it is, but with the here's my thing on that mouse, on the Magic Mouse. With the Magic Mouse, it dies in like a month, almost two. Like the Magic Mouse will last you a long time. That's why I think they just kept the charging port on the bottom, because they're like, hey, you're not going to be charging this all the time. So when you are charging it, you're just going to plug it in, wait for it to fully charge, unplug it, then use it for almost a month again. And then when it's about to die, you're like, oh shoot, plug it in. They're not intending for you to use it while it's plugged in. They're just trying to keep the minimalist thing. Yeah, they could make it more ergonomic, but I think the ergonomic they're going for is no cables at all and no visible ports. That's why it's on the bottom.
It was this one, the Pixel 10 Pro
But like,
Fold.
yeah, obviously, I think it's weird. Like, also when I have to plug the mouse in to charge it, I'm like, oh, this is so, and like I can't use it while it's charging. But it's the battery life that I was like, oh right, yeah, it's not gonna die. It's gonna last me like another month. So hey, it's gonna sit on my desk, no wires, look good. Yeah,
And this one's really nice. Again, not because it's
And
the
the battery
thinnest thing in the
optimization
world,
is really good on it
but
too.
while using it
Like,
closed, it's
if I'm not moving my mouse for more than 5 minutes, it's automatically going to sleep mode. It's all going to a sleep mode, and then to conserve that. But that's how it lasts that long. Oh, I think that's the Max. It's both the Mac Studio and the Mac Mini. Yeah, they have the power button on the bottom. I I can't justify that. I can't justify that at all. That's Apple being Apple. Like, I think it's just we're trying to make it look good on your desk. So not have a visible power button, but have a power button like under where you can't. It's also like the same thing for the computers. Like the iMacs, the power button's like, I mean, that's easy access though. It's right in the back. It's not visible. That would be cool. That would be cool if the Apple button was. But I mean, it depends where they put it. Like, obviously on the nah. Think about it. That's actually genius. That would genuinely be a good feature. Just tap, press it, boom. Or if you're on the the iMac, press it, boom. It wouldn't work on the laptops though, because obviously logos in the back. So, and I mean, the laptops literally just turn on the second you open it. So
basically all of the goodness of just a regular Pixel 10 Pro. But again, it is a little thicker, so not as fun to hold and use closed, despite having all the great software. Silicon carbon battery version again, maybe, would be nice. And I also will give a shout out to the Z Flip 7 for the same reasons that I talked about earlier, which made it a good small phone. You can actually use it closed. So the outside cover screen, the 4.1 inch corner to corner, you can triage notifications and do all sorts of full-time stuff out there. And then of course use it as a regular full-size phone open. But yeah, other foldables did individual really interesting things as far as like minimizing the crease or, you know, actually having a silicon carbon battery. But as far as the overall package, I'm happy with my picks. Also, in case you're wondering, the Samsung Galaxy Z Trifold, the triple folding one, it got announced this year, but it's really coming out next year, so I think we'll just make it eligible for the 2026 awards. So next category, the most improved. And man, I am so glad I made this category. This is a good one. And you know, a lot of the discourse and the
old school CPUs where you had to push the button because there was a spring and they made that satisfying sound. Yeah.
talk about smartphones on Twitter and comment sections is that they hardly change from year to year. They rarely actually take a big leap from one generation to the next. And for the most part, I agree, but it's worth recognizing the ones that actually do. And when you see some interesting technologies or interesting new designs or developments between generations, sometimes people forget how far they've come from the last generation because a lot of phones come out around the same time and look similar. So I'm very happy I get to give this award out. It's one of my favorites. And this year's winner is this one. This is the iPhone 17. Apple just finally went ahead and did what they should have done years ago. They made the base iPhone a complete phone.
I thought this was going to go to the Pixel because not only did the Pixel 9 elevate on the Pixel design, so did the Pixel 10. I guess the iPhone's finally 17 is what the iPhone was finally supposed to be, a good phone. So
you see them finally do it. And over the iPhone 16, they of course are giving it the new chip, but they also finally gave it a high refresh rate display. They doubled the base storage. They gave it a massively upgraded new selfie camera that's across the whole iPhone lineup. And so this entry-level iPhone has gone from being just kind of like the base placeholder iPhone that I kind of hated recommending, but it was fine, to being all the iPhone anyone really ever needs. Like, it's the easiest to recommend one in the whole lineup now. And so yeah, it's that big of a difference from year to year. Definitely award worthy. And I do have a runner-up as well, which is going to be the OnePlus 15. And it's crazy, I was really liking the OnePlus 13, like I said, which was earlier this year. And so to have them come out with the 15, they skipped the number 14 in between, but this phone having more power, way more battery, way better design, but then also having slightly worse cameras. It was still a pretty impressive difference between the phones from less than 12 months apart. Maybe if the next one has awesome cameras, it can be a phone of the year contender. Also, shout out to the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7 for moving to this ultra thin design, but actually keeping the exact same size battery as the previous one, but feeling way better in the hand. Good work. All right, next category, bust of the year.
Hyundai Kona.
The award that I hate to have to give, but you know what? We've been doing it for this long, so every year someone has got to win
Is this for the camera bump?
the bust of the year. And the funny thing is there were a few phones that came out this year that didn't quite hit their mark. Either they didn't land with their typical fan base, or they weren't quite what people are expecting, or they were confusing, or they got worse. Unfortunately, this year there was one phone that did all of that. So
Pick up.
the trophy is yours this year, Apple.
With
It's the iPhone 16e. The mission
I knew it.
was actually
I knew
pretty
it.
simple
The
here.
16e
Apple was
is
looking
so
to create
bad.
a new
The
entry-level
16
iPhone.
I would say the 16e is worse than the Air. No, it's worse than the Air. Because when Apple was like, we're going to release a budget phone that wasn't budget and was horrible, yeah, like at least with the 17 Air, you know what you're getting. You know you're not going to get a good phone. But with the 16e, it's advertised as a great budget phone, but it's not that at all.
At the bottom of the lineup is not for spec chasers. It's not for people who want the best performance. It's just for the basic buyer to get in the door and get a smaller, less premium iPhone. So they made a smaller, less premium iPhone, basically by taking things out of the base phone. So we have a binned A18 chip in here, fine. It's also a smaller 60 hertz display with a notch, fine. But then they kept going. They took the cameras out. So it's a single camera on the back, no telephoto, no ultra wide, fine. Then they kept going. They took all the color options away, so it's just black, fine. But then they kept going. No Wi-Fi 6E or Wi-Fi 7, no ultra wideband, no millimeter wave, no camera control, no MagSafe. Okay, this must be like a super cheap iPhone then, right?
Not cheap.
But no, the starting price was $599. And actually, when I reviewed this phone a couple months ago, the higher tiered storage version I was reviewing cost $900. So just a crazy swing and a miss here. It is
like if you're gonna
the
get that, you
cheapest
might as well just
new
pay
iPhone,
an extra
but it is
100,
not
maybe
a cheap
two,
iPhone.
to just
And if
get
anyone
the
was
17,
considering buying
or get
one,
a
they were
17 on
recommended
sale.
to get a 16 or a 15 Pro instead. Now, I do actually have a runner-up too. The Nothing Phone 3 was sort of a uniquely disappointing phone this year. Not because it was a particularly bad phone, but it was just a big delta between what their very passionate fans were hoping and expecting from this phone and what they actually delivered, which is kind of a wonky design and also really nuking one of their most popular features and turning it into like a tiny pixelated display on the back. Just didn't hit the way people like me were hoping it would. So then last but not least, next category, MVP. So phone of the year. So many.
iPhone 17 is either iPhone 17, Pixel 10 Pro XL, the S25 drop, yeah, S25. I'm gonna say S25 Ultra. The S25 Ultra is good. It's not gonna be a random phone. It's not gonna be like a Xiaomi and Oppo. It's not gonna be any of those. It's gonna be a flagship, one of the big three. And I think it's going to be the 17. The way he was glazing the 17, I think the 17 is going to take it. I think the 17 is going to take it.
Stories, so many options, and so many
Here's his reasoning. He's going to be like, the 17 was a decent price, good specs, 120 hertz finally. It's the best phone on the market. That's what I'm predicting.
Serving ones here. I feel like every year when I talk about the MVP for this show, I almost always use a sports analogy. Like, there's typically more than one deserving winner of the MVP. It's almost never unanimous, unless their name is Steph, my GOAT. But the point is there's a bunch of really good stories and a bunch of really good phones to recognize here. And to be clear, this is not the best phone of the year award. Like, I think it would actually be kind of boring to sit here and just pick the phone with the highest benchmark scores and the biggest numbers as the #1 phone of the year, which I'm sure there is a phone that can qualify for that, but this is more of the one that had the story that represents the year for me. If you go back and watch previous winners, it'll make a lot of sense. So, of all the phones that came out during 2025, the winner for MVP.
Oh
AJ Brown has Geico like a regular person, so we had one translate.
Had to be the 17 he picked up,
Geico's
right?
like me, always
that had to be the 17 he picked up. There's no way it wasn't. This is a long ad. They're actually not letting me skip this one. Oh my gosh! Don't get me started on the Nintendo Switch 2. I I have I have like actual hate with the Nintendo Switch 2, but I'm gonna leave that for another day. Mainly because of one of the mistakes I made of getting rid of one of my favorite consoles to get the Switch 2, and now I have none of them. Oh my gosh!
Is this guy. iPhone 17. This phone
knew
was a
it.
long time coming,
my
and what a
gosh.
story this year. Hidden in the most expansive iPhone lineup we've kind of ever had, among the
I think the Steam
iPhone
Deck,
Air,
the Steam Deck
the
is
most
going to
interesting.
trying to come back, especially with what Steam's doing with the Steam Machine and the Steam Deck. I think Steam is trying to make their place in the console market, and I can't wait for the Steam Machine to drop to see if they can do that. Because right now, obviously, it's Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation, but I'd say right now Xbox is dropping out of the race because with what Xbox is doing right now, Xbox is selling their market. I will say this right now. Exclusives make a game company. I don't think that's crazy for me to say. Cause what are you getting a Nintendo Switch for? Hey, you're getting to play these games that are on multiple all consoles, right? If you want to play Fortnite or you want to play whatever, right? But you can also play the exclusives. Smash Bros, Mario Kart. You can play any Kirby game, Legend of Zelda. You're gonna get it to play those exclusives. You can't play them anywhere else. Or um PlayStation. What are you gonna get a PlayStation for? You're gonna get it obviously to play the games that you can play on other consoles. Like, what are you gonna play? What do people play nowadays? Call of Duty, 2K, whatever. They play all that, but you're getting it to play the exclusives. God of War, Spider-Man, Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah, and Xbox is raising the prices like crazy. Isn't it Xbox like almost 1,000? If I was to look up the price right now, Xboxes are like $849. Let's look for Series X. Xbox Series X. Okay, $549. Okay, but I also go to the Xbox website. What's the Xbox website listing it for? $649. What? Okay, $649, 600, and this one's $800. Oh my gosh! Let me go to PlayStation. And then yeah, PlayStation dropped they made a $400 console with the slim digital with only 825. Oh my gosh. Like PlayStation knows what PlayStation is dropping prices. Even the Pro is cheaper for 900. That's so crazy. The Pro is cheaper than this one. That's insane. And even their bundles, obviously the bundles are going to be the price of the console, but even your bundles are a decent price. Like, that's so crazy. And if you want to pay an extra $50, you can get a 1 TB version. PlayStation knows what they're doing right now. PlayStation's in their bag. And yeah, Xbox is trying to blame it on the RAM. I think they're blaming it on the RAM when Microsoft is the one that is using a lot of RAM for their AI stuff. They're blaming it on themselves essentially. Like, PlayStation knows what they're doing. Nintendo knows what they're doing right now. Nintendo, they're a little stingy with the game prices, but they at least dropped it for Black Friday or in the holiday times. They're back to my exclusive thing. They're giving away their exclusives. Like on Xbox, on PlayStation right now, you can play Microsoft Flight Simulator, Forza, Halo, Gears of War. Every game that should have been exclusive to Xbox, you can now play it on PlayStation. What's the point of that? What's the point of getting your consoles if I can play the games on a cheaper console? A console that costs me less to get. I can get the same experience, maybe not even better, on that console, and I don't have to pick up your consoles. I think there's a chart for all the consoles that sold on Black Friday, and Xbox was listed in the other category. What this thing, hold up. Next Playground. This thing sold more than the Xbox. Whatever this thing is, this console targeted like towards kids, this outsold the Xbox on Black Friday. I think they need to realize, yeah, something's up. When I tell you I saw that Forza and Halo dropped on the PlayStation, I was like, Xbox is giving up. They're officially giving up. Because you should never give away your exclusives. Nintendo and PlayStation would never give away any of their exclusives in their lifetime. Sony would never hand Astro Bot to someone else. Nintendo would never give Mario, Link, Kirby. They would never be like, oh no, you can't have them. They would never give them out. But Xbox is just like, yeah, take this, take that, take this, take that, and they're focusing on AI and stuff. I think that's what's actually selling them. It's selling them so hard.
Interesting one, and the iPhone Pro, the most capable one, is this base iPhone that leveled up to be the most complete and actually kind of a great deal. Like, aside from the obvious stuff that they can kind of sleepwalk through, like a new chip, toss that in, new colors, whoop-de-doo, slightly updated camera, they also did the bigger stuff. They updated to a much brighter, but more importantly, finally high refresh rate, 120 hertz display. Thank you. Is this the only Pro labeled feature ever to come to a non-Pro iPhone? I think so. Why was it ever called Pro in the first place? I don't know, but it's finally here. And then they also gave it a really good new selfie camera upgrade. This upgrade is across the entire iPhone lineup, but it's this big square sensor that can take portrait or landscape selfies. Huge, underrated upgrade that I think a lot of people are going to copy next year. And then they went ahead and doubled the base storage, which was kind of the cherry on top because they kept the price the same. So now this base iPhone is a better deal than the base S25 and the base Pixel. It's about damn time. I mean, it's not something I ever thought I would say, but a phone with basically an 8 out of 10 in every category, great battery, great cameras, great software, and an eternity of software.
That's what makes a good phone. That's literally, I see why he's about to use a sports analogy. That's like LeBron. I don't know. I mean, I'm not into sports like that, but that's literally how LeBron is. LeBron is, he's a good shooter. He's a good defender. He's good on offense. He's good at this, that. That's what the iPhone 17 is. It's good in battery life. It's good in specs. It's good on the screen. It's good on the camera. All those things add up. And I feel like that's where some companies make their mistake, because they're like, all right, we're going to put our eggs into one basket and we're going to have this amazing camera, but the phone is lacking in other areas.
For support. It's just nice to see them finally coming through and delivering what they should have a long time ago. So, shout out to the most improved and the MVP, iPhone 17. Now, I do have a runner-up as well. Probably my favorite phone release of the year, because it kind of almost shamelessly rode on the back of the iPhone 17 Pro Max, and that is the Xiaomi 17 Pro Max. And just a treat to use, but also hilarious that they just copied the name and then did a bunch of one-upping. They one-up the design, they one-up the battery, they one-up the power, and they add this display on the back, which is actually super functional and turned out to be an incredible design choice, and they might as well keep doing it with this phone. So really, really good phone, and they undercut the price, by the way. Just a lot going on here. Very, very worthy of a trophy. Just short. Really well done. And that is it. People always want to know also what's the phone that I used the most during the year, which I mentioned in a previous video, but I will say it was Galaxy S25 Ultra for a long time, and then it was Pixel 10 Pro for a long time, and now lately it has been OnePlus 15 in my pocket. But there you have it. It's the Smartphone Awards 2025. Let me hear in the comments section. Let me hear what you would have picked for which category, which ones you disagree with, which ones you do agree with. I always look forward to that discourse in the comment section below. But until next time,
iPhone should have started at $650.
Catch you guys later.
It's still too expensive. $650 might be the best price. I don't think they'll ever drop the $650. $700 maybe, but they'll never drop it that low ever, unless it's like a sale, obviously. But never. They'll never go that low ever again. That was a good video. That was a good watch. I should get some props for predicting that it was gonna be iPhone 17. Like, I knew it. It was the best all-rounder phone of this year. It was obviously gonna win that. Like, that was a prediction. Let me see. Did he tweet it on? Did he tweet it? Let's see. Let's go to MKBHD. Let me see what people on Twitter have to say. Smartphone Awards, spoiler alert. Okay. 16E, 17. Phone of the year. Let's see what people have to say. Much too expensive. Getting Android for half, just as good. The iPhone 17 is perfect. My brain, buy it. Intertech skeptic, but the iPhone 18 might have a built-in coffee maker. I agree with it being the most improved phone, But what are my thoughts on Gemini? Gemini, it's eh. It's it's eh. I say Gemini right now. They're cooking in what's it, Nano Banana? Is that what their image generation and image and video generation is called right now? They're that's their strong suits right there. It's really good. But like AI wise, obviously I'm a school student. I don't use AI to cheat, but I use AI like to help me with my assignments all the time. Like or when I like for example, I'll study for my SAT because I have college apps soon. So study for my SAT, try to get a good SAT score, and I would rather use Grok over Gemini sometimes because I feel like Gemini is like it's iffy sometimes. And with ChatGPT will always be the best. With GPT-5, that will always be amazing to me. I especially since ChatGPT already like knows me well enough. Like I'm always using GPT to study or help me with assignment or just ask about a genuine question. Ran from 280 to 310 in like a week after the Gemini 3 model. Well, I mean, that's always after a model drops though. I'm glad you didn't include Samsung. They really need to upgrade. They've been just making sales because of reputation. It's only the latest Z Fold that's a change. Their trifold is not even that good too. I'm not gonna lie, we gotta wait for the trifold for real though. So just an iPhone though. Best improvement? Okay, debatable. Phone of the year? Hell no. I mean, I still think it could be phone of the year. What else is there? Let's see. Let me see. Bust of the phone. Bust of the year. True. Yeah. And this is the best big phone. Xiaomi 17 Pro Max. Oh my gosh. What's this? A new. We're giving away a custom 2080 Ti? What? We're 2080 Ti. At this point, this is a collector's item. It's no point of putting it into the console. That's a collector's item. Is this real? This Game Awards leak? I mean, you're more of a stock market guy, just hanging out, starts yapping, do like dabble in tech because of that. Okay. Oh yeah, this is a lie. I was about to say, cause the second I saw, okay, well I see a game trailer dropping, but Minecraft 2 reveal, that was yeah. Do you still have that? Or is it at this point you just like you had it and then you're like, all right, yeah, it's time to upgrade. Let me get something. So yes, yeah, EVGA. I don't they still do their power supplies though, or am I tripping? Or they're like completely gone. Mistake. See, what is actually a good use of AI? I think we shouldn't use AI in ads. I think ads. I think I miss when ads were like still like human. Like most commercials are, but with like Coke and McDonald's making their AI thing, and then they're like, oh, we had to sit here with the prompts and then do all this work, and then it just took so long, so much just perfecting this. It wouldn't have taken that long if you did this with actual people. It still works. You had a double. So you were doing a dual GPU whatever like those don't work. You can't do that nowadays, can you? Because I remember when I was watching the PC videos back when I was in like elementary school. Oh my gosh, um they were like, oh yeah, this is my PC, and then I got dual GPUs in here. Yeah, but you can't do that nowadays, can you? Mm. All their YouTube rewinds have been unlisted? No way. Even the best YouTube rewind, in my opinion, which is YouTube Rewind 2018. Oh my gosh, it's been unlisted. Like, actually. I don't even know if I have it liked anywhere. How would I get the link to it? Why'd they unlist it? What? You see SLI, you see. You need the power for 3D model rendering? Oh. Okay. Like, does like. But like, would it actually like. Because I've seen like a bunch of people talking like, yeah, you can do. It was. It was. What's his name? KJO PCs. He did a dual 5080, I think it was. But I was like, does that still even work in this day and age? Like, didn't they discontinue the software and stuff to do that? Yeah. So you're telling me there's no way I could watch that rewind ever again? But who has the direct link? I would. I don't know. I want to get the direct link just so like I could save it. Bought in like 2016. Yeah, that when people were doing that, I was in elementary school. Oh my gosh. Limited edition Nothing Phone 3A is beautiful. That is nice. Oh. Always go pro. And then this guy's like, it's okay to go base when it's this good. See, now I'm actually thinking like, it's iPhone 17 got it. iPhone 17 got it. $1,700 back then for fast delivery, just a GPU, and it was the 1080 you said. Wow. Oh, two found. Oh yeah, Founders editions. Choice Awards. Oh, I gotta pick that. Okay, okay. All right, 10:15. All right, I think that's gonna be the end for the live stream today. Um, it was just a quick little simple live, just chatting. Really, that was it. I was just clicking on setup, and I was like, I should go live, put on the smartphone awards and stuff. Um, appreciate you guys for tuning in, and we're just chatting. We're having a good time. I appreciate that, and I guess I'll see y'all tomorrow when I'm live again. I don't know what time tomorrow really, but all I know is that it's sometime in the morning. It was nice chatting with you too. This guy had to be my favorite person in the chat. Um, but yeah, I'll see y'all tomorrow. And all right, that's it. Jane Sensei out.